Jimmy, is that a game you could have won by half time?
Could have won, should have won. Game was there, you just said it. They're absolutely on their knees coming off the pitch at half time. Delighted to be only 1-0 down, doing all the right things, carrying it on from last week. Really good performance. In that first half, you come away from home, you play with intent, move the ball well, getting men in the box, all the things you want to do, locking the door at the back, well organised. Against an informed side, makes it even more frustrating come the end of the game.
When they didn't have a kick in the first half, did they? And you had some really good chances.
No, not at all. And like I say, we're the team in the ascendancy. We're looking like the team who are going to score the second and probably third and fourth goals at one point. And even second half, look, we come out. They have more of the ball. We're having less chances, but we're still in control. Doesn't always feel like it, but they're creating absolutely nothing. Playing long balls, direct balls. We're coping with our back line's been strong all afternoon. Things running through to the keeper dibs, and yeah, just 3 minutes at the end of the game where I think we have 4 or 5 opportunities to stop that goal happening. Massively disappointed.
I mean, all they had throughout the 90 minutes or 95 minutes was one header and that scramble at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And you come away from home against, like I say, a side who are in form, they create chances. Put caution to the wind, they throw men forward. That's how they play. I thought we handled all that really well until when it gets down to the crunch time, where it's most important. And that's something that we've lacked massively this season. Smelling the time of the game, sensing where the game's going. And I think after 55, 60 minutes there of them having what felt like a bit of a storm, but it wasn't really. It was all just not having possession. I think we've got to go and have that killer instinct, and it's something can't shy away from. We haven't had it this year. Lacked goals, lacked that cutting edge, and if you don't score and go 2-3-0 up, you give the opposition a chance to scramble a goal like they have at the end.
Yeah, so you've basically summed it up, because that basically sums up the season, doesn't it? That game in 90 odd minutes is how the season's gone.
Yeah. I summed it up because it's happened so many times. That's where we are. Put demands on people to be better. Players up the pitch in particular. You want your better players. That's why they play up there, to go and kill the game off. Sense when you've got the opposition by the throat and they're struggling. And that's where you ramp it home and show your quality. And again, we haven't done it again. All the keepers made a couple of good saves, to be fair to him. Hasn't happened. And the bare minimum there, you cannot lose a game. You cannot lose a football game, and we have. Sick of saying lessons learned, sick of saying it all season. That is an absolute sickener today.
You think you might have had a penalty early in the second half?
Yeah, possibly. Look, there's quite a few things that were dubious, to say the least, but you get that a lot at the level. That's not being bitter, but yeah, I think there's a few opportunities where I couldn't believe the book didn't come out for a booking didn't come out for the opposition players. The penalty looked like a penalty. But again, we should be out of sight. Without these decisions, we should still be out of sight today, and we're not, and we've got the ultimate punishment for it.
Some bizarre decisions as well as the penalty. It looks as though he's going to send Kai Lissimore off in the first half. It looks as if he's going to give him a second booking. Is that why he came off at half time? Yeah,
purely because of that. Look, young boy, full of enthusiasm on the front foot. That's how he plays. You take away his willingness to get close to people, be aggressive, use his instincts. Real quick pitch today. It was absolutely thumping down in the first half on the AstroTurf as well. Look, it's purely tactical decision. Nothing against Kai, good learning curve for him. But I think with the decisions that were happening today, it was probably going to be a matter of time with the way it was officiated at times.
How frustrating is it for you and Russ you put a performance like that out today, but just can't get a win at the moment, and it's always, well, it's a mistake at one end not scoring, and then you're always susceptible at the other. Yeah,
that's what it does. It creates that feeling of nervousness, I'd say, because you're not out of sight and you're not winning games by your 2 goals. You're not seeing games through. It's always going to be a grind. Today has got to be the best example of that. I think we really took on the performance from last week against Kings Lynn. It's just very hard to talk about them positives now, this close after the game. It's really raw. Frustrating, again, that word. We've got to be better. Look, we've got to be better. We've got to be so much better going forward. We've got to be ruthless. We've got to be relentless. And I think we show it in little snippets. Snippets isn't enough. It doesn't get us where we want to get. It doesn't get the club where it needs to get. really frustrating. We look at ourselves, players have to look at themselves, as a group we have to look at ourselves, because again that's what happens when you don't take your chances in football.
And do you feel the players do look at themselves, because this has gone on for some time now? Do you actually think that they do look at themselves and challenge themselves?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Look, it's a good group of players. It's a good group of players, but we've come up massively short at this stage of the season to where we should have. It's frustrating. You can only look at yourselves, and I know how me and Russ are, and the staff are with each other. We're absolutely brutal on ourselves, because that's what it takes to get success. Exactly the same when we were players. It's the same in whatever you do. You've got to be able to be honest with your appraisal of yourself, and if you're doing enough and you're giving absolutely everything and you're producing quality, then that's absolutely fine. But the stats don't lie this year. We haven't scored anywhere near enough goals, and we've put a massive pressure on ourselves to not concede goals at the other end.